Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Judith Walker. I'm the Disability and Accessibility Services Coordinator for our students here on campus. And we also have another staff member attending. And if she would just like to chime in and introduce herself.
Yes, so I'm Hillary Degner, and I'm the coordinator of case management and support in disability and accessibility services.
Thank you. And without further ado, we will hear from Jane Vincent from our Ann Arbor campus. And while Jane is introducing herself, I will share my screen and we can get started with the presentation. Jane?
Great. Thank you very much, Judy. I'm Jane Vincent. I'm the Assistive Technology Manager within ITS on the Ann Arbor campus. And I'm always happy to talk about assistive technology with all of our campuses. So I'm very pleased to be here today. And just waiting for Judy to bring up the presentation link. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking about Morphic, which is a revolutionary way to provide access to assistive technologies. Judy, could you go into present mode, please?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and could you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so to start, what is assistive technology? Assistive technology is basically anything that can help modify standard devices to make them more usable by people with or without disabilities. So a good example of assistive technology is the Zoom feature on a smartphone. We've all used that. Smartphones have very small text, so being able to Zoom is tremendously helpful to all users. It's critical to users with low vision. There are also Zoom features available on standard computers. So assistive technology basically has two functions. Either it can modify or replace the monitor for output. It can modify or replace the keyboard, the mouse, or the touch screen for input. It can also enhance learning or work in other ways by providing text to speech. So for individuals who prefer to hear what they're reading or to hear and see simultaneously, there's technology that can help with that. There's technology that can help with organization and time management and so on. Next slide, please. So as wonderful as AT is, there are two long-term issues. One is it's not always obvious. There's a lot of useful features built into the Windows and the Macintosh operating system, but not everybody knows they're there. Not everybody knows how to find them. In addition, for a lot of third-party assistive technology, people may have something on their own personal device or in a specific location, which is great when they're using that device or in that location. It's not very helpful if they're somewhere else where they don't have access to that particular software. Excuse me. So next slide, please. So Morphic is a project to address both of those concerns, and it's being rolled out in two stages. Stage one is a pair of free toolbars that provide quick access to some built-in tools. And one of the toolbars can be modified to provide access to other tools and to websites. In development is a cloud-based system that will allow individuals to access their own assistive technology, configured to their preferences, configured to the device that they are using, anywhere. Morphic has very deep Big Ten roots. It was developed at the Trace Center, which used to be at UW-Madison. It's now at the University of Maryland. And by way of disclosure, I used to work for the Trace Center, and I have been involved as volunteer with the Morphic project for about 15 years, and I am thrilled beyond words to see this come to fruition. Next slide, please. So there are 3 levels of Morphic, and I'm going to talk about each of these today. The first is Morphic Basic, which is a fixed toolbar, and Morphic Basic is free to anyone, anywhere. Morphic Plus is a modifiable toolbar, and that's available to anyone for a limited time if you sign up. And Morphic Enterprise is the cloud-based delivery system that will allow people to access their own assistive tech from anywhere. The price on that is still to be determined. So next slide, please. So I'm going to start by talking about the Morphic Basic toolbar. And the Basic toolbar contains buttons that link to system features. At the moment, these features modify the display, read selected text, and can be used to copy text or images. And Ann Arbor is testing the Morphic Basic toolbar on our public Windows and Macintosh computers. The toolbar comes up automatically. As you will see from the screenshot of the toolbar at the bottom of the slide, there are green buttons, which are the buttons that come with every Morphic Basic toolbar. And then on the left, there are 3 blue buttons: My Email, My Canvas, and mPrint. And because Ann Arbor is participating in a beta test for the Morphic team, we've been able to roll it out to our public computers, and we've been able to have these 3 Ann Arbor specific buttons added to the toolbar. There's certainly still time for Dearborn to sign up for the beta if they're interested. The Morphic team is wonderful to work with, and it's a great mutual learning session. The Morphic Basic toolbar, in addition to being able to be added to networks, can also be downloaded at no charge to any personal computer. Judy, could you go back a few slides, please? One more. Okay, so again, Morphic Basic can be downloaded at no charge. I believe you don't even have to sign up. All you need is a Windows computer running a version of the operating system from 2019 or later, or a Macintosh computer running the Catalina or Big Sur operating systems, and you will be able to use the Morphic Basic toolbar. Next slide, please. So Morphic Plus is, back one slide, please, Judy. Morphic Plus is the next step up, and Morphic Plus is also currently available. It builds on the basic toolbar by allowing you to customize it. And you can customize it with selected other tools, or you can customize it to provide a link to any website. For now, the Morphic Plus toolbar is available to anybody with registration, and all registration means is that you will be notified when there are new versions of the toolbar available. And they do ask you to provide input on any features you would like to see changed or any errors you run into. Because Ann Arbor is participating in the beta, the Morphic Plus toolbar will be available to any current Ann Arbor student, faculty, or staff member in perpetuity. If Dearborn signs up for the beta, it will also be free to any active Dearborn student, faculty, or staff member permanently. Morphic Plus is not currently accessible from public computers. You would need to run it on a personal device. Next slide, please. So actually, could you go back to that last slide for just a sec? Thanks, Judy. So you will see from the screenshot of the plus toolbar on the right side of the screen that I've customized it. I still have a number of the same features that were on the basic toolbar, but for example, I've added a button that lets me log off the computer right away. I've also added a button called Go Blue that, not surprisingly, goes to the UM homepage. So there are a variety of different ways that you can customize that. And the icon at the bottom is the chameleon, which is the Morphic mascot. If you click on that, that's a menu. And if you choose Customize Toolbar, it's going to take you to the screen that I'm going to show you on the next 2 slides. So next slide, please. Okay, so this is what the customization webpage looks like. And you can customize the toolbar for yourself. You can create up to 5 different customized toolbars. And you'll notice on the right, under Button Catalog, that's where you can very easily create buttons to open a web page, to open an application, to use Skype, to access Zoom, and a variety of other different features that are not being shown here. So you can do that. Next slide, please. You can also create custom toolbars for others, for a student, for a colleague, for a family member, for a friend. All they have to do is to have also signed up for and downloaded Morphic Plus. So you can see on the left side of the screenshot that I've set up 3 Morphic bars for colleagues by way of demonstration. One way that you might be able to use this is if you have a student who has difficulty remembering the link to the website for their particular class. You would be able to set up a customized toolbar for them that includes links to all their classes. And then when they finish fall semester and go on to winter semester, it is very easy to change that link so that it's then relevant to winter semester. And you can set, at this time, you can set up individual toolbars for up to 5 different individuals. Next slide, please. So Morphic Basic and Morphic Plus are pretty exciting on their own. Morphic Enterprise is what's going to blow everything out of the water. So it's in development. There's been no release date announced yet. What it will include is the ability to access personal assistive technology anywhere through a highly secure sign-in. It's going to be very confidential. The ability to facilitate previously unavailable configuration capabilities for assistive technology, the ability to simplify the computer interface, and other features that haven't even been announced yet. There's a tremendous amount that people will be able to do with this. So to explain the enterprise version further, I've come up with 3 stories that will show what this will be able to be used for in the future. Next slide, please. So story number 1 is about Amna. Amna has cerebral palsy, and she uses a sophisticated on-screen Windows keyboard called Soft Type to help her input text quickly. Now, Soft Type works great for her on her personal computer, but if she wants to use it somewhere else, then she's dependent on it having been installed on that device, and very few public devices are going to have this particular program installed. So with Morphic Enterprise in the future, she will be able to sign in and automatically access her copy of Soft Type configured to her preferences on public campus computers, on her roommate's smartphone, on the kiosk at her local grocery store, on any internet or intranet connected device when she studies, goes to do a study abroad in Finland or the Arctic Circle or anywhere, it's just going to be able to let her log in, have her technology come up, and just be able to go. Next slide, please. Example number 2 is Robin. And Robin uses Read and Write, which is a program that both Ann Arbor and Dearborn have. And Read and Write has both text-to-speech and spell checking features. And Robin finds this program absolutely critical to use during exams. And for exams, they are authorized to use their text-to-speech, but they are not authorized to use the spell checker because of the nature of the classes that they are taking. So with Morphic in the future, what the instructor or the test proctor or whoever is overseeing the test is going to be able to do is, for Robin's copy of Read and Write, they're going to be able to turn off just the spell checker. So they will still be able to use the text-to-speech that they need, but they will not be able to access the spell checker, which is not allowed for the exam. And then as soon as the exam is over, they will have access to the spell checker again. So this is going to make things a lot easier. In the past, there have been times where people needed to use technology that they perhaps were not familiar with and were only seeing for the first time in an exam situation. With Morphic, they're going to be able to use their own familiar technology, just with certain features turned off for the duration of the exam if necessary. Next slide, please. So a third example is Coral. And Coral is a non-traditional older student. She's coming back to school to finish her degree. After retiring, she didn't use computers very much on her job. She has not used computers very much in her personal life. So she's still learning the basic technology necessary for her classes. And often that technology can be pretty complex and confusing. So with Morphic in the future, some interfaces will be able to be made friendlier. For example, one interface that's being tested on Morphic is a way to make email look more like a mailbox. A mailbox is a very familiar metaphor. Email is not. So what the email interface looks like is a mailbox. You click on the mailbox, you see a variety of envelopes. You click on the envelope that you're interested in, and the text of your email comes up looking like a letter. You can hit reply to that letter. When you're finished, the letter goes into another envelope, and a little mail truck comes along the bottom of the screen and picks up the letter and goes off to deliver it. So it's a very familiar metaphor to accomplish a very complicated function. Next slide, please. So hopefully I've been able to illustrate the benefits of Morphic for campus, for individuals. Some of the benefits for campus is with Basic, you can easily comply with accessibility mandates by making it very easy for people to access the accessibility features built into Windows and Mac computers. With Plus, you are able to customize toolbars for others so that rather than needing to provide ongoing tech support, you can simply provide people with the accessibility toolbars that they need up front. And with Enterprise, very often what campuses need to do is to guess what assistive technology they need to purchase to accommodate students, faculty, and staff. With the forthcoming Morphic Enterprise, there will no longer be a need to do that. You will only, if individuals will either be bringing their own assistive technology that they can access through Morphic, or if you do need to purchase equipment for somebody, you know who your audience is and you are just paying for what specific individuals need. So next slide, please. So to learn more, you can download at this time the basic toolbar or sign up to download the plus toolbar at https:/morphic.org. My email is jbvincen@umich.edu if people have any questions or would like to discuss this further. Thank you very much for your interest.
Thank you, Jane.
Okay, and we have a couple of minutes. I'd be happy to entertain any questions from anybody who's currently here.
I do have a question, Jane. I have a student that is visually impaired, and the instructor sent an email that she's really worried about this student because he's having difficulty navigating the keyboard on the computer. He's a computer science major. Would this be helpful for that student?
Probably not so much, because that sounds like a hardware training issue.
Okay.
What I would do for that student is, and this is going to, you're going to have to dig into the coffers for this because this is going to set you back $2. But what you want to do is you want to go to a craft store and you're going to ask for something called puffy paint or three-dimensional paint. And what you can do is you can either draw dots on the keyboard to make it easier for them to orient their fingers to where they are on the keyboard. Or, for example, what I've done for people sometimes is I've drawn a T on the tab key and an R on the return key or an E on the enter key. And that will help them orient themselves as to where they are on the keyboard. In terms of learning to type, there are a number of programs out there, and I would need to refresh myself on what programs are good for people with low vision. But there are free software programs out there to help people learn to type.
Great.
So probably just be a question of them getting some typing skills and then being able to go from there.
Great, thank you.
So, and I will follow up with an email to you. I'm going to say no later than tomorrow about low vision typing programs.
Okay, that'll be great. And I'll pass it on to that faculty member as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
I guess I'm the only one with, I have one more question, Jane. So if Dearborn, so talk about what's no cost. Was it something that you were saying that we could do that wouldn't cost us any money?
So at this point, if you sign up for the beta test, for the campus-wide beta test, the basic toolbar would be free. The plus toolbar would always be free to any current Dearborn faculty, staff, or student. And then I believe once the enterprise comes out and if you're a beta site for that, then I believe it would be free or discounted for maybe 2 years, but they're still working that out.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right, well, I thank you all very much and appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you again, Jane. Bye,
Take care.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.